It's an interesting experiment. So, I've just finished listening to the new album by Weg Einer Freiheit, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, let me know in the comments. These are my thoughts immediately after listening to the album, and yeah, let's get straight into it. Of course, the album's not been released yet. That comes in September when Innern finally gets released via Seasons of Mist. But trust me, we're in for something very special. See, I've always loved Weg Einer Freiheit just because they've always done metal in their own style. They've always done extreme metal in their own image, and they've never really been one for convention. And this album just really challenges what black metal can and should be, and it really is densely layered. It's just so complex. There's so much going on. It's just a testament to the band's creativity and compositional genius. I found some of their older records to be a bit more polished, a bit more refined and technical than Innern. Innern's a bit more gritty, a bit more on the nose, stripped back, and just so atmospheric and raw. That worked so well for the band, and I loved it, honestly. The first few songs, I had to crank up the volume as loud as possible as it went down my headphones, and I was doing all this kind of stuff, and I just loved it. And I felt really immersed listening to it, and I just can't wait for you guys to have the same experience in September. I've always found the band to be very interesting from a vocal point of view. Nikita sings entirely in German, and I speak maybe 10, 20, 30 words of the language. And I don't think that really matters though, because he brings so much emotional depth and sentiment to his voice. It's just so raw and powerful. He could be singing in Spanish, English, German, French, whatever. Would still have the same level of intensity in his voice. And I think that's something very unique in Weg Einer Freiheit, and something they've really harnessed on this record. Now, the final song of the record, Forlorn, was the most interesting to me, namely for the fact that it was sung entirely in English. And to the best of my knowledge, this is the only song by the band which has been sung in English. I found it so much easier to connect to Nikita's vocals, obviously because it's in my native language, and I could understand the emotional depth a bit better. And I do wonder if this is something that we're going to see more of in the future. I wonder what's driven this decision, if it's something creatively, if it's a business decision, if it's been imposed by management or the label themselves, or I don't know. But it's an interesting experiment, and I do wonder again if it's going to be a mainstay in future releases.